Does this mean that I'm a lesbian? Just like that? I don't know.
You don't need to kiss
Which is
me.
You want me to kiss you?
I met her just like in the movies with friends.
Bro, what's going on? And then I meet porn stash, and that guy caught my eye. I was like, oh, who is this guy with this? I'm saving you for later.
Does anyone else have the feeling that this show is gonna get wild? So Hunt for Love brings together some of our favourite and not so favourite former cast members, alongside a whole host of new singles. They're all hoping to find true love. Now, most of the focus on this episode is the returning cast, the cast that we're familiar with. So who do we have? Well, let's kick off with Tiffany and why she's here.
Recently, I've lost a total of 110 pounds, so that's been super exciting. But I think one thing that could be better is my love life.
Tiffany's in a good place in her life. She's feeling good after her divorce from Ronald. The last few years have been all about weight loss, feeling better about myself and raising my kids, she tells us. But I'm now ready to find someone new. I'm more than single, she says. I haven't been on a date in over a year. Now, the retreat actually gets off to a good start for her. You see, at the masquerade masked party, she spots a stranger who might be just what she's looking for.
And then I meet porn stash, and that guy caught my eye. I was like, oh, who is this guy with this? I do like brown eyes, but his beautiful blue eyes.
Tiffany says this guy, Rocky, isn't exactly what she pictures when she thinks of her type, but he seems to be really doing it for her. Now, they chat a few times, and later, when the masks come off, he admits that he's drawn to her too.
Tiffany has been sweeter than honey. She's beautiful on the inside and out, and I look forward to getting to know her better.
Rocky says that he can even see a future where he takes her home to be on his Christmas card. I mean, it all seems very hopeful, if not a tad bit presumptuous. I just hope that Tiffany has learnt from her past mistakes. I hope that she doesn't rush into things. But you've got to admit, watching these two together, they do seem to be very comfortable with each other, and that's a good sign. Now, despite being so drawn to Rocky, he isn't exactly the only guy that Tiffany notices once the masks come off.
Oh, is that Soldier Boy? I don't know if any of the women here are his type, because so far I haven't seen any women over 50.
Yep, Tiffany, your eyes aren't deceiving you. Usman is also joining the party and hoping to find love. So, despite these women not being his usual type, not being the kind of women that he normally goes for, Usman says that he isn't worried. In his usual fake bravado, King of Africa, I'm an international superstar kind of way, Usman tries to reassure us that he's got something that's gonna make him stand out from the rest of the crowd.
And I have my advantage because, I'm African, we have it here. We it's big. Africans, everybody has big penis.
Yeah, alright, Usman. Not to be funny, but his track record when it comes to telling the truth is debatable. And let's not forget, before things even get to that stage, he first needs to win someone over using his personality. That might be a problem. But again, Usman says that he's not worried. In fact, he says he also has another advantage. I'm used to this. I'm used to female attention, he says. Women throw themselves at me because I'm the international superstar Soldier Boy. Now, if you've seen my last video about Kim and Usman and what they've been up to since we last saw them, you'll know exactly what I think of that. And hey, now might be a good opportunity to remind you, if you've watched that video already, if you've watched more than a couple of my videos over the last few weeks, do me a favour, hit that subscribe button please. YouTube shows me that nearly 70% of people watching this aren't subscribed. If that's you, show your love. I'm not here selling you anything, I'm not doing any sponsorships. This is a labour of love. I try and put out quality, high quality videos practically 4 or 5 times a week. So if you like what I'm doing, show your love, show your support, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already, and let's move on. Now, while Usman is definitely far from being the international superstar that he claims he is, what is true in his statement is he doesn't need to do too much work to get at least one lady to notice him. You see, it turns out that there is one woman here with whom he has a past history. Who might that be? Cortney, remember her? There's a blast from the past, isn't it? Do you remember her and her ex, Antonio? Well, yeah, it turns out she and Usman did indeed have a thing together, a very short fling, but now she's at this retreat to find her perfect guy.
My mom's like, oh, I think your expectations are too high. I'm like, basically, like, don't cheat on me or lie to me and, like, pay my bills.
Now, she might joke around, but Cortney does share that she's been hurt in the past. She's here hoping that the experts at this retreat, and I sure do hope that they're more expert than the people they had at the last resort, but Cortney's hoping that these experts might help her to pick someone better going forward. But it's at this point that she spots the familiar face in the crowd. She spots Usman, and it turns out Usman is one of those guys that she was talking about. He's one of the guys that hurt her in the past.
I went on vacation with him in Istanbul. I started falling for him. I stayed the night at his hotel a few times.
I don't know what she was thinking. Like, at the time, you might recall that there was a little bit of flirting between Cortney and Usman on Instagram, right? And at that time, no one was really sure if this was real or if they were just making up some kind of fake romance for the sake of staying in the spotlight. But, she says, it was real. Just as I was starting to think that we might make a great couple here, our vacation ended and then Usman ghosted me. He never reached out again. So how does Usman react when he sees her? Not well at all. This reaction leaves a lot to be desired.
I think we've met before.
We met before? I'm not sure about that, but the way...
How embarrassing. Like, Cortney was there telling us that maybe fate has brought us back together, and here's Usman pretending like he doesn't know who she is. Now, he claims he is just pretending. He goes on to say, I always play and joke around with Cortney. That's just how we are. We're always having a joke and a laugh together. But I'm not necessarily sure I buy that, and Cortney definitely doesn't seem to take it as a joke.
Are you mad at me?
Yeah, you're acting like you didn't know me.
No, I know you.
No.
I don't, listen, I'm sorry about that, but I don't mean it that way. I want you to understand me.
Now, eventually, after he finds out that it's Cortney under the mask, Usman tells her that he's happy to see her and he too wants to find out if they have a deeper connection. But while that might be what he says to her face, privately to the camera crew, he tells us they both came for love, but they didn't come for each other. I'll keep her in the mix, I'll see what happens with her, he says, but I'm also keeping my options open with everyone else. Now, while Usman might be getting ahead of himself slightly with all of these so many different options that he thinks he'll have, there is someone else, another familiar face, who's not feeling so confident.
Right now, I felt completely out of my element. With all these handsome men and their six-packs and their open shirts and the pretty girls, the cleavage.
Yep, that's right, Colty is back on our screens as well. But all of this is a world apart from how he normally spends his Friday nights, he says. Since my divorce from Vanessa, things have been tough. My life is totally different, he tells us. Now, I did recently do a video about Colt and his new farm life and what his mum Debbie is up to as well. I'll include a link to that at the end of this video. But Colt goes on to say that he's now ready to find another wife. He wants to find someone else to spend the rest of his life with. But the problem is, judging by how out of his comfort zone he is, this really doesn't look like it's going to be easy for Colt. You see, he really seems to be struggling with everything. In fact, when we join him the next day, he's complaining that even nature is conspiring against him.
It is very humid here. You know, I come from Vegas, so I'm used to the heat, but the humidity is a whole other beast. I mean, look at me, I'm sweating my balls off.
Poor Colt. I mean, if he wants to start getting to know women at this retreat, he's really going to need to try and adapt to this situation and put himself out there a bit more. Now, someone who isn't having any problems, someone who's clearly very capable of adapting to a group of women, is Rob. Yeah, I know, I feel the same. We just can't seem to get away from him. Rob is back on our screens again. Now, Rob tells us that he's looking to find his soulmate here, but there's a slight tiny weeny problem.
Sophie and I are not officially divorced yet. It is something that is happening and happening soon, but I don't want to lie, but if I can avoid talking about it, I definitely will.
Rob is fully aware, right, that there are going to be ladies here that are going to have a problem getting with a man that's still legally married. So Rob has come up with a solution to this problem. I just won't tell them, he says. I'll keep it secret. And that approach seems to work. You see, wasting no time at all on the very first night, Rob starts laying on the charm with one of these new women.
So you're a Miami girl?
Kinda.
What does that make you? Like a party girl?
Kinda, but I don't want to party anymore.
Like a yacht girl?
A little bit.
So this girl, Elise, is very interested in Rob. But despite him also seeming to like her, Rob also has his eyes set on someone else, someone a little more familiar.
Realizing that the hottest girl here
Was also on 90 Day Fiancé.
I mean, we'll see.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. What's your name? Nice to meet you, Rob.
So Rob has his eyes set on Jennifer at exactly the same time as he's checking out and cracking on with Elise. Now, as far as Jennifer's concerned, and also her ex Tim for that matter, I did a whole separate video yesterday about them and all the bitching that goes on between them, so be sure to check that out as well if you haven't already. But going back to Rob can't keep his eyes off Jennifer, but he's also looking to keep his options open. And with that in mind, when Elise shows him some interest, Rob is happy to go with it.
Which is you?
I met her just like in the movies, was friends with my roomie.
Yo, what's going on?
So after knowing each other for about an hour, these two are already making out. Now, I've got no problem with that, right? It's great if they just want to hook up, but if their aim, as the name of the show implies, if the aim is to find a long-lasting, loving relationship, if that's what they're after, this might not be the best way to go about things. And in fact, by the next morning, Rob wakes up and regrets his actions. In the cold light of day, he now realises he may have moved too fast. I hope this doesn't mess up my chances of getting to know some of the other women, he says. It will be interesting to see what happens. How much of an impact will this have on his game going forward? Now, with that said, let's move on to the last returning cast member, Chantel. She too has plenty of reasons to be here.
The dating pool, let's be honest, it has piss in it. The last few years of my dating life have been my hoe phase.
She tells us she's dated a lot since she broke up with Pedro, but she still hasn't found her forever love, someone she can start a family with. But in typical Chantel fashion, she always seems to attract drama, doesn't she? And this time is no different. You see, when Usman comes and sits down next to her, Chantel does to him what he did to Cortney, and he doesn't like it one bit.
But you don't know me? For real, be honest.
I don't know you. Who are you?
Why, Chantal? You know me. You don't know Kimberly?
Usman seems genuinely offended. How can she not know me? I'm the king of Africa, is what he's probably thinking. But he instead resorts to name-checking Kimberly and Jamal in a bid to remind her who he is. International superstar, my ass. Now, the funniest part about this is Usman really likes Chantel. He shared that he thinks Chantel is beautiful. So the fact that she's just embarrassed him like this then leads to Usman going into denial and doing a lot of sulking.
I don't know anybody until I meet them in person. I've never met you in my life.
Why would I need to talk? No, I don't want to talk.
I know you don't want to
Honestly,
talk,
I don't. I know Chantel know who I am.
Now, Chantel admits to the camera crew that she knows who Usman is. In fact, she's even warned Cortney to be careful about him. From everything I've seen about Usman, she says, I don't trust him at all. I definitely don't trust him with my friend. And while Usman seems pretty cut up about the way Chantel's treated him, Chantel, by contrast, doesn't dwell on Usman at all. You see, there are other, more confusing things on her mind.
Right before I came to the resort, something did happen with one of my friends. Well, one thing led to another, and Ashley kisses me.
Chantel says that she was shocked that her female friend kissed her, and more than that, she was shocked that she liked it. I'd never even considered that part of my sexuality before, she says. And clearly, that experience has left her very confused. She doesn't know who she is anymore.
Does this mean that I'm a lesbian? Just like that? I don't know.
Chantel has a lot to figure out, as to do all the rest of the cast. I get the feeling this show might be about to get messy. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my updates. And on screen now, there's some videos for you to check out next. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.